Hello and welcome to this episode. In this video, I'm going to continue from where we stopped our discussion about strings, and I'm going to show you two more techniques on strings that will help you to combine strings and values that are stored in variables, especially when you want to print out prompts or output of your program to your users by combining what is already stored in variables and your own test that you want to include in the output. Okay, so I'm going to have a variable called first name. I'm going to store my first name there, and I have a variable last name. I'm going to store my last name pi. Okay, now if I want to get my full name, there are multiple ways in Python that I can do that. The first one is called string concatenation. Okay, this is not a Python, a valid Python statement. I'm just typing what I said just in case my accent is not good enough for you to hear. Okay, so if I say full name is equal to first name plus last name, now I can print full name, and what do you see here? You see Edward pi combined. Okay, and when you use the plus operator on string data types, and these are strings because they are enclosed within the quotation marks. Okay, so once you use the plus operator on string data types, what happens is called concatenation. It is just going to join the latter string onto the former one. Okay, so I said full name is equal to first name plus last name. This is not the mathematical meaning of the plus symbol. Because the data type is a string, it determines what the operator does. So if you remember what we learned from the previous video on Wikipedia, it tells you that the data type dictates to the compiler or the interpreter the kind of values that the variable can hold and the operations that it supports. So in this case, because the data type of first name, last name are strings, once I use the plus, it is called concatenation, and what happens is that it's going to join the last name at the end of first name, and that is what we had here. Now if I wanted it to be beautiful, what I could have done is I could say first name plus, and then I'll put another string, and this string is just an empty space. Okay, I just want to leave a space between the first name and the last name. So once I do this, if I print full name, you can see that full name is Edward, there's a space, and pi. Or there is another thing I could do, especially in some universities, the names are printed in the reverse order. So they print your last name, they put a comma, and then your first name comes. So what I can do now is I'll say full name is equal to last name plus, sorry, I'm using a German keyboard, so sometimes I miss my keys. Okay, so I do this, and then I'll say plus first name. Okay, now if I print full name, you can see that it has actually appended or concatenated first name after last name, and it inserted a comma between them. So I have pi Edward. If I print it, I'm going to get the same, just that without the quote. So full name, and you can see that I have pi Edward. Okay, this seems okay, it sounds beautiful, but there's a problem with it. Nobody wants to have to deal with putting in quotes and pluses. It's quite confusing to the eye, and so Python offers another way of doing this, and it's called string formatting. How are we going to achieve string formatting? I could have achieved the same thing by saying print. Okay, then I will come here and I'll say 0 and then 1, and I'll say dot format, and then I'll put in last name and then first name. Okay, now this gives me the same output, but I have much more control over how I want to specify the formatting right here. And as tricky as this may sound, it is very, very easy to do. Let me repeat it once more. So I'm going to say full name is equal to, you bring your quote because I'm going to do string formatting. So you need to specify the layout of your string, like how you want the string to look like, using what is known as placeholders. So the first placeholder is called the placeholder 0. Okay, and so I'm telling Python that I want to format a string, and there's going to be a first string followed by a comma, and there's going to be another string. Now once I have specified the layout, so what I've done here is called the layout. What I'm telling Python is that this full name here is going to consist of some string, which the first one you choose to reference with 0, and the second one you choose to reference with 1. Once you have specified the layout of how you want the string's output to be, then what happens is you say dot format. Okay, now the first value you put there is going to be substituted in place of placeholder 0, and the second is going to be substituted in place of placeholder 1. So what's going to happen here is I'll say last name and then first name. Okay, so now if I print full name, you can see that it is Pi, Edward. Let's do one more example, because more examples is going to help you to understand what is going on here. And if there is any confusion, don't forget to leave a comment in below in the video, and I'm going to respond to you. But I'm going to do more examples. So let's say I have a variable called net salary. Okay, so let's say your net salary is 60,000. Is this 60,000? Yes. So let's say net salary is 60,000, and let's say your tax rate is equal to 17.5. Okay, now let's say you are writing an accounting program and you have a variable called net salary that has 60,000, and the tax rate for the country is 17.5. So you want to print an output or you are designing a pay slip, and you want the employee to know that after taxes, this is what you are going to pay in taxes. Okay, you want the employee to know how much he's going to pay in taxes. What I can do here is I will say let's say output is equal to, then I'll do something like, I'm going to I want to let me first tell you what I want to print. I want the output to be something along this line. Your total tax on 60,000 at the rate of 17.5 is whatever is 17.5 of 60,000. Okay, now we can easily achieve this using string formatting. How are we going to do that? Now this is what I'm going to do. I'll just say, so I want to say your total tax on, so I want 60,000 to be here. So I want to say your total tax on 60,000, okay, at the tax rate, or at a rate of, then I want to substitute the 17.5 here. So I want to say your total tax on 60,000, or whatever your net salary is, at the rate of whatever your tax rate is, and then I want to put the actual tax you are going to pay over here. Okay, so now I can say dot format, and then the first thing I want to put in place of placeholder 0 is net salary. Okay, and then the next thing is the tax rate. Now the third thing is a calculation. I want to calculate 17.5% of 60,000. So how am I going to do that? I can just put open and close bracket here. It's not actually needed, but I just want to do that for clarity of the program statement. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I want to calculate 17.5. Okay, so 17.5, which is my tax rate divided by 100, okay, times German keyboard times net salary. Okay, now let's do this and let's print output. So it is telling me that your total tax on 60,000 at a rate of 17.5 is 10,500. How did we arrive here? And the secret is string formatting. The way to do that is we said your total tax on, and then you put a placeholder here at a rate of, you put a placeholder there, is, you put a placeholder there. So now we have three placeholders. Okay, we have three placeholders that we need to specify values for, and the order in which you specify the values in the format is very important, because Python is going to insert these values that you submitted to the format function based on the order of the placeholders in your test pattern, the pattern that you want to have, the output pattern. Okay, so it says your total tax on placeholder 0. What is it seen for placeholder 0? It is net salary. What is net salary? Net salary is 60,000. So it's going to put 60,000 here. And then at a rate of placeholder 1, what is placeholder 1? It is this. We are counting from 0. So in programming, counting usually starts from 0. So it says tax rate. So it's going to put tax rate here. What is tax rate? Tax rate is 17.5. Okay. Now, then he said is, you want to actually show the total tax the person is paying on the net salary. Now, this is an expression. So what is going to happen is that Python is going to execute this expression, this mathematical expression here, and is going to put it in place of placeholder 2. So what happens is I calculated 17.5% times the net salary, and it's telling me that your total tax on 60,000 at a rate of 17.5 is 10,500. So thank you very much for watching, and in the next video I'm going to show you another strategy of doing string formatting. Thanks.